Hello?
Hey man, how's it going?
Hey mate, how are you?
I'm not bad, thanks. You good, yeah?
Awesome, yeah, I'm good.
Chilling. Massive thank you for taking the time to do this, Simon. You're known for your work with Zara Larsson and your YouTube videos, which I find myself watching at least once a week. Like I say, it's a huge honour for me as I'm a big fan of your work, but what made you pick up the sticks and how did it all begin?
Alright, yeah, so I would say probably it's because like my family is a lot involved with music, so I started off playing like guitar when I was like 8 or 9 years old.
Sweet.
And yeah, so my brother he played the guitar and I played the guitar, and my dad played the guitar and my uncle played guitar as well, like in a like mid-famous Swedish band. So it's always been like music in my family. So, but the thing is then. I was a big fan of the band Kiss.
Nice.
Yeah, when I was little. So I guess it was something that like I knew my brother got more like attention from our family and stuff, because he was a lot better, because he was 3 years older than me. So I guess we wanted to play also in the same like band. We wanted to have a band together, and then I guess I just in my school when I was like 9-10 years old, I found this. They got a drum set, so I just started banging on those drums, and I just found out that I just could play drums. I don't know. So the teacher just showed me, the most simple you could play, and then I could play it just after 5 minutes, and then I was just hooked on drums, and that was my new call for life. So, and then I found something I could be better than my brother on, I guess.
Nice.
So so it was some kind of competition between us. So then I started to play drums, and I took lessons, and I think it was a lot of because of like the Kiss and Peter Criss, the drummer, and Ian Pace, Neil Peart, and those old school rock and roll drummers, because that was the music that I was like listened to all my life when I was a kid as well. So those three were big like influence for me. Nice. So I guess I started with the rock and roll thing when I was a kid. I painted my drumsticks black because I wanted them to look like Peter Criss, like his drumsticks. Yeah, it was weird.
Sweet. That's pretty cool.
So I wanted to be like a rock star when I was a kid.
Nice.
And then I just I started in this school for music as well when I was 16 years old. I went there 3 years, and then after that school, I went to a college of music as well.
Nice.
So when I was like 20 to 22, I went to this college of music, and that's where I met like a lot of different musicians and artists and stuff like that. And then just the journey just went on from there, and then I met a lot of different musicians that took me to their projects and stuff like that. So I played with a lot of different musicians.
Nice.
And then I got like headhunted for this bigger artists, and then everything just took up like a snowball, I guess.
Yeah, I mean that was kind of my next question really. So obviously you work with Zara, but can you kind of tell us who else you're currently working with, who else you've worked with in the past, what kind of stuff you've managed to get up to?
I mean in the past, so I started playing with this, I would say he was, at that time, I was 21 or 22, at that time he was like the biggest Swedish pop artist called Darin. So I got headhunted for that artist, because I was more into like, Aaron Spears, Gerald Hayward, that kind of music. So I was, I wasn't that, I would say, like a Swedish drummer. I was more American, because I my biggest inspiration at that time was, you know, Aaron Spears, Gerald Hayward,
I know
and
what you mean.
those kind of dudes. So I was more like American than Swedish, like influenced drummer. So I guess they headhunted me for that show because they wanted that artist to sound more like that kind of drumming, or they wanted to do like a Justin Timberlake.
Yeah, I get the vibe you're referring to.
So I got headhunted for that one, and that was like my first real like big tour, because he was like huge at that moment. I would say he was one of the biggest Swedish artists. So I started touring with him, like the first tour bus tour, and we toured for like 2 years. And at that time as well, I started to tour with like this two big Swedish artists. One female artist called Sabina Ddumba, and then also a Swedish artist called Cecarion, which also took off like pretty quick. So we started touring in Scandinavia, Europe, and then Australia, and then to US. So everything happened like in the same time.
Nice.
So everything just it was like a snowball. Once I got that show, like that tour with Darren, everything just
kind of opened up for you.
Everything just I got more people saw me playing like for him and for other artists, so more people started to call me. To jump on their projects and stuff like that.
It's a good thing, man. So I have like 2 questions off the back of that. So, how did the Zara thing come about then? Was that through college or?
So the Zara thing was actually, I got headhunted for that as well. So that must have been when I played with Darren at 2000. This was 2014. The Zara project, she was like, at that time, I mean, she was 16 or 17 years old.
Right.
And she was about to do her first tour at 2015. That was when I was on board, or what you would call it. So when I played with those other artists, so Hampus, our MD, he got the job like MD because he was working for 10 Music, where Zara was where she was signed in Sweden.
Cool.
So he wanted to put together a band, and he knew about me because he had seen me playing, and he had heard about me and that kind of drum style that I do. And I wasn't like I said, I didn't other Swedish drummers, I would say. So he wanted that kind of sound, like Destiny Child kind of arrangements and stuff like that. So he called me, and he also called Michael, who's the keyboard player. And me and Michael, we have known each other since we were 16. Since I went to the first music school, so we have been playing together for Darwin and for Sabina, other artists together. So we were like a great team together.
You tight.
So he just took us both from that, because in my mind, I think he wanted like best at that time. So he took us both, and then that's just how it started. And it was crazy because, I mean, when I heard Zara back in when she was like 10 years old, I remember saying to myself, because when she was 10 years, I was 17 years old, and I remember saying like, oh, it would be so cool to like play with her when she got older or something, because she's gonna be big, like that's what everyone said in Sweden. Like she's gonna be huge. So when I got the call and everything for Zara, it was like, shit, that this is what I said like 5 years ago.
You totally called it.
It was super crazy. So 2015, it's been five years now we've been touring with Zara.
Sweet.
And I just been it's been a great journey with her and with the whole band and everybody. It's been
that's
crazy.
cool. And then have I seen online you're working with an artist or a band called Jung or Jung?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I'm currently working with different artists as well when I have time, because I'm mostly booked with Zara. That's my prior gig,
Yeah.
I would say. But when I have time, I try to do other things. And Jung, that's actually I played with. So the Jung is it's two brothers, and one of the brothers called Henrik. We've been touring with a band called Join the Riot as well. We've been touring to China and stuff like that. So I have had a band with him before. Sweet. And then when his brother wanted to join him and they wanted to start a new band, so he called me for that show as well. And they're actually pretty big in Sweden too.
I've heard a few things about it. I quite like it. It's cool.
Yeah, they're pretty hyped. Like they do this kind of pop, Bon Iver, like something between. It's super cool. So it's fun to be out with my friends as well. Yeah. And we did a sold out tour last fall. So that was amazing. And I mean, due to the corona, we haven't played for we haven't toured for 1 year, so it's so crazy with everything right now. But so I play with Jung, and also got headhunted for I'm playing also with the artist called Emma Steinbakken, which is a Norwegian artist as well, so I'm playing for her too. And she's I think in Norway they're trying to make her the new Zara Larsson. So she's
okay, cool.
She's just she's 18 now.
Yeah.
She's awesome too. And then I play with a few more in Sweden as well.
Nice, because I think when I first reached out to you, that you were after a week of pre-production with her, right? In Norway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Sweet.
Exactly.
So how do you approach a tour? Can you kind of talk us how you prep for it before going into a rehearsal? Or kind of how you program, how you get familiar with the songs? Obviously, with an artist like Zara, it's now at a point where I guess you have a groove and a pattern with your bandmates and the MD, and you probably will have your roles within that band, but obviously there's new material.
Yeah, I would say the first thing I would do when I do this pre-production stuff is just have a really good how do you say when you when you practice a song, or like a drum sheet.
A chart kind of thing.
Yeah. So the first thing I do is I do a really detailed drum sheet for myself, and just write it down by hand. I'm not using any computers or stuff like that to write. I'm writing on a old classic, just a paper.
Nice.
Just to. Because when I write it down by hand, I just feel like it just sits
it goes
more.
In better.
I remember it more, and I guess I have a different way of doing those kind of drum sheets. It's not the normal sheets. I do what you call. I draw a marker for each bar, and then I do notes. Like I do a intro, verse, chorus. Bridge and stuff like that, and then I draw lines for each bar, and then I do notes for each bar if there's something there. So I just when I'm in the rehearsal space, I can just glance at the paper as well, and then I just know what kind of stuff, because in the beginning when you jump into new artists, you don't want to fuck up things. You want to do it exactly right. So I really give it a time to do a nice drum sheet, and then I guess I would have a conversation with the MD, or in which case I'm also the MD for Jung, and I've been MD for other artists as well. So then I start just see what kind of drums I want to play and listen back to the stems that we got.
Okay.
So
you kind of take some of that MD knowledge and apply it to the gig.
Yeah, exactly. So because I've been an MD myself, I know what kind of things people will play and what I would like to play as myself as a drummer. But I usually do a lot of things. I do a lot of electronics, and I try to do like everything.
Yeah.
And I usually just have like EFX and stuff like that on track. And I mean, I think it's fun to play it. The more you can play, it's more fun, and it's more interesting for the show as well.
Yeah, I mean,
and I would say for like a tips for other drummers as well is to. I would say it also kind of impresses the artist that you work for if you show that you actually do more stuff and that you can play more stuff as well. So I would say that's a good tips for
show your musical side. Don't just turn up and kick snare it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you want to show that you can be a part of the arrangement and the production and that you can play everything, not only acoustic drums but also the digital. So yeah, I would try to play everything mostly.
Yeah. Sweet. So I'll touch back on the electronics in just a sec, but what drums are you using at the moment? Kind of what other gear completes your setup? What sizes are your kit? And kind of companies that you live dealing with?
Okay, so I would say I have like 2 or 3 different setups for the artists that I work with. So I have this huge monster kit with Zara, and then I have this vintage hybrid vibe with Jung, and I also play with Emma. It's like the same version of that vintage hybrid kit. It's not like that vintage sound. It's just with Jung I have this more pop vintage sound. It's just I change drum kits. So I have this 70s Tama kit with Jung, and then I play with more like with Zara I play with this walnut birch Tama kit.
Yeah.
And sometimes I just with Zara as well I have this weird setup with my electronics table with a SPDSX and a TM6 and then just a KT10 snare hi-hat. So it's pretty much just electronic and maybe with a cymbal.
Yeah.
But I would say, so with Jung, I play with this vintage kit. I don't use the TM6 for Jung, I just use the SPDSX because with Jung I only triggering like the kick, the snares, and I just put up some pads as well. And
run it out the back of the SPD then.
Exactly. So it's more complicated with Zara with like what kind of electronics I'm using.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of my next question really. My next question was. So in that video that like obviously has gone pretty much viral in the drum world for Never Forget You, on your left hand side you have like a snare quite high up, and you also have the electronic pair of hi-hats on the stand. Exactly. Obviously, I mean, on a little geek note, I saw your flight case for all your electronics, which satisfied me greatly. But yeah, how do you use I know you've said you kind of like to try and play as much as possible in regards to like triggers and samples and one shots, but how do you find having like the 2 hi-hat stands next to each other and kind of like the snare high up on the left? What do you use it in? What purpose?
I mean, to be honest, I'm not actually using nowadays because I think that was 2017 through 2018. I used the VH11 digital hi-hats, and that was actually pretty fun for that tour because the music at that time was it was a lot of electronic stuff and 808 hi-hats and stuff like that. So I mean for that tour it was perfect to have that setup. I mean because I wanted to play. I mean a lot of drummers these days they play like they just dub over the current like 808 hi-hats that's on track. But I mean, if you really want to sound like the production, you can't play a real hi-hat, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's not gonna sound like that. And for the artist, that could sound like pretty weird as well. So some artists they really want to hold on to the track, to the original track as well, and sometimes it can throw them off if they don't hear the music as they are used to. So on that tour, I had this small 10x5. I still use it, 10x5 snare on the top, which I use for like, you know, trap snare stuff like that, and it's also triggered. And it was actually really fun to have two hi-hats, but it was like, you know, to have two hi-hat stands, like, it was I've never played like that before, but it was it took a while to get used to it. But,
I can imagine.
But yeah, I will definitely do it again, because last year we did the Ed Sheeran tour, and you know, it wasn't our main show. We only had like 30 and 45 minute shows. So yeah, I took down a bit parts of that kit, and it works great too. But I guess I'm gonna bring it back when Zara release her new album, because I guess it's gonna be a lot of those kind of hi-hat patterns as well.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of my questions actually, was how did you find that Ed Sheeran support tour with Zara? Obviously, again, your videos kind of show the crowds and they were massive. How did you find that experience? And how did it differ to a normal Zara show, which is quite big anyway?
I'm gonna be honest with you. That tour, I don't think I'll ever experience such a good, solid tour that I was part of. I mean, that was the best tour I've ever done in my life, because like the Ed Sheeran, like all the crew and staff, they were amazing. Everybody was, you know, it was just like a big family. And you know, and just like hanging out with Ed Sheeran as well. I mean, he wasn't. We thought he was gonna be, you know, the diva and wouldn't hang out and stuff like that. And it was just, he was amazing. He was so fun to hang around with, and like the whole crew stuff. And it was just
nice time.
It was and like everything was just so professional.
Yeah. Like
everything went so smooth, and it was just like, oh, this is how the big tour is supposed to be.
Yeah.
I mean, because I guess like everybody has been on these smaller tours, and you know, some venues are shit and stuff like that. Everything isn't on the right spot and places, and you know, but it just felt like, okay, this is
every step of it had been thought out properly.
Yeah, I mean, this was just something else. So I hope we can do that kind of tour in the future again, because I mean, I really miss that kind of shows that we did as well.
Yeah, I think it was the kind of show that, again, from the videos to me, that sound that Zara has and that yourself and the MD put together kind of worked so well in that stadium environment.
Yeah, I mean, in like the shows as well, it was just, most of the shows we did 35 minutes, and some other shows we did 45, and even though it wasn't like Zara's gig, it was amazing. Like, the crowd was insane, and I think it was a good tour for Zara to do as well, and it was a fun tour for us to do some new arrangements and stuff like that as well, because I mean, Zara, she hasn't released the album for a couple of years now, so I mean, it's I still love to play Never Forget You and, you know, Lush Laugh and stuff like that, but I mean, I do want to you know, play something different now. So next year, I hope she's gonna release her new album soon, so
sweet.
It's gonna be super awesome to, you know, to get to play new stuff as well.
Sweet. So you use a thing called the cymbal resonance system, don't you? Which
exactly.
Here, I think some people know of, not everybody does. Could you kind of explain about what it is and what it does?
Yeah, I mean, so I must say I really recommend that product, because I mean I'm not endorsed. I would say I'm endorsed. They gave me a bunch of them.
Yeah.
And I mean, they weren't like, okay, you have to say good stuff about them. But I'm gonna be true, and I have to say it is a great product. And when you have a lot of cymbals, which I have, and if you have, it depends on what kind of hardware you have. I mean, I use the Tama hardware. It's solid. It's good.
Yeah.
But you can also get a lot of resonance from the hardware, and pretty ugly tones from the hardware as well. which I like. If you play on a crash cymbal, you can just hear things rattle down to the hardware, and you can hear small tones. I mean, you won't be able to hear this when you're on an arena playing drums for 40,000 people. But if you're in a studio situation, you can actually, like, I would go mad at these kind of tones, weird tones, and stuff that comes out when you play the cymbals. So I would say that this is an awesome product if you want to get rid of those kind of ugly tones from the cymbals. And I would say the cymbal resonance is a lot more. It just sounds cleaner. It sounds more clean, and you just take away all the weird stuff that comes from the hardware.
Oh, brilliant.
So yeah.
Sweet.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about kind of electronics and the balance between acoustic and electric, but I think we've covered that pretty well.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, like as I said, I use like all of the Roland products that you can see in the hybrid setup. Yeah.
Do you control the track with Zara, or is that the MD, or do you have a production manager?
Sorry, what did you say?
Do you control the track with Zara?
No, so we have a MIDI tech. That's the thing when you, like what I felt when we also started playing with Zara is, in the beginning, so the MD, Hampus, he did play the tracks and stuff like that. Yeah. But then, I mean, when you're doing this kind of big shows with a big artist, you don't want anything to go wrong.
No, sure.
So it's of course it's a job by itself to just handle the tracks and have a A and B or C computers, and and I think we have like 6 computers for Zara.
Wow.
So we had to get a MD tech. So we actually have with Zara MD like tech who does everything with the tracks, and he played the tracks. He gets all the cues. He play next songs, everything. So that's his job. Like he's the tech for all the electronics.
Does all the time code and stuff.
Yeah, time code and everything. So I would say all my electronics and stuff. It's through Ableton and stuff like that, but not my my SPDX. It's not through Ableton because of I've tried it, and just because of the latency stuff like that, we want to find some new ways to get it even better. But I would say everything is changed from MIDI. Like, so I don't even put my finger on the SPDSX or the TM6.
Right. Okay.
And which is awesome, because then I can just focus on playing drums and not like, okay, there's a verse 2, I have this kind of kick on my KT10, I have to switch. So in songs I could actually switch between 3 kicks on my KT10, which it does by itself through MIDI. Nice. Which is awesome, because that means that I can have a lot of different sounds during a song as well.
Yeah. So
the SPDX is just it switched between different sounds and stuff like that while we're playing songs as well.
Nice. Right, I won't keep you much longer. Just a few more questions I've got.
Yeah, no worries.
So, the majority of your work is in a live environment, and obviously you spend a lot of time on the road, as we discussed. But something that I would like to ask yourself, and I ask everybody who does one of these, how do you keep yourself in touch with the normal world going on around you and keep yourself healthy, both physically and mentally, whilst on the road?
That's a really good question, because I've actually been struggling with that like a few years ago. Because when you're on tour, I've been touring and been a professional musician for like 9 years, just touring with artists and doing work for artists and labels and stuff like that. And when that becomes a big part of your life, you become the work as well. So like a few years ago, I was actually really struggling with like, who am I as a person, and like, am I just Simon the drummer, or like, who am I? So it's important to have to separate those kind of things,
Yeah.
to be on tour and to be home, because when you're on tour, mostly the like the whole year around, when you come home and everything's just normal, like you're not doing these big shows for a lot of artists, and then you come home, like it is a different like time, and it's something else than being on stage. So I think it's very important to handle that kind of situation, and like separate you from like who are you, like the private Simon and Simon. Yeah. when you're working. So that's something that I think a lot of musicians still struggle with, to just find themselves. I don't know how to explain it in a good way, but
I know what you mean.
But just it's a weird situation, like when you do those kind of shows and then you come home. If you don't have a show for a month or 2 weeks, in those kind of situation, I would often do other things that maybe not doesn't have anything to do with music.
Yeah.
So I would be outdoors playing disc golf, hang with my friends and be with my girlfriend and stuff like that, to do just different things that's not music as well. So I think that's pretty important to just separate those kind of work and your spare time as well, because it's pretty hard.
No, I hear that. That's a good answer.
Yeah.
So, what's your favourite piece of gear that you own? Is it like electronic piece? Is it an acoustic piece? Do you love vintage drums?
I do love vintage drum, but my favorite gear. I would say it's. It's so that is such a that is such a hard question, but.
You can top three if you like.
Okay, I'm gonna say 3. So I would say it's my Starphonic 13x7 snare drum. I love that snare drum. It's one of my favorite snare drums. I use it. I can use it on everything. I could use it just on. Yeah, it's so versatile, and even though it's a 13x7, it sounds great low tuned. It sounds great high tuned. It sounds good in every single way. So that's the snare I'm using all the time.
Sweet.
I would say I'm really enjoying my new 22-inch HHX Complex. The Sabian Thin Crash.
Yeah, sweet. 22. That's a monster.
Sorry. Yeah.
22. That's a monster.
Yeah, it's a monster. And the thing is, I've never used a ride cymbal with Zara. I don't use ride cymbals. I never played the bell.
Right.
Like it's pretty. Yeah, I don't use it. So I often use bigger cymbals as a crash cymbals as a ride. I don't ride the cymbal. I don't. So that crash cymbal, I love it as well. And I would also say the Walnut Birch, the new kit I got last year, it's still one of my favorite drums.
Oh, the Phantasm Oyster.
Yeah, it sounds awesome. I played a lot of different Tama kits, and I had played with that amazing Star Babinga kit, like the ocean colored, it's like the most expensive kit I played on. But I would say that this Walnut Birch kit, it sounds amazing, and it's a great tour kit as well.
What size did you go for?
So I'm playing 10 by 7 and 12 by 8, and then 14 by 16 and 16 by 14, I think. Yeah.
Sweet. And what's the bass? 22?
Yeah, 22.
Nice.
22, 16.
I think
18. Yeah.
16 or 18, I imagine.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. So yeah.
So again, I think I've seen online you've kind of set up like a bit of a studio. How have you kept yourself busy / motivated in these absolutely weird times that we're in?
Yeah. That's I mean, I guess for a lot of musicians these days is just horrible. And for me in the beginning, when I was supposed to do 5 different tours this summer,
Wow.
And it was just like, you know, a big hit in my face when
Totally.
in March, and when this came, and and all the shows and tours were just cancelled. I mean, I've never been. This haven't it hasn't happened before for I guess a lot of musicians, and so for me it was just like, what's gonna happen now? Like, what's up with this? So I mean, in the beginning it was quite nerve-wracking, but then, as I said before, you have to find yourself, like, who am I as a drummer and who am I as a person? You have to find something else that motivates you and stuff like that. So in the beginning, I was out just playing disc golf, do other stuff that would make me happy, because it was just a weird time. But then, I did a few shows anyway this summer. I did a few TV shows, radio shows, and promo shows, because, I mean, the shows in front of audience was cancelled, but you could still do shows and promo things with artists. So, yeah, I did a few of those, and actually now I'm just in my studio, trying to, because, I mean, this is the time you can practice.
Yeah.
Like it's so weird. Like, when we will look back at this time, like, and we would say, like, when can you ever again just take a pause in your life for like 1 year and do something else? I mean, this is the time you can actually do something else.
Yeah.
So for me, I mean, I'm mostly like a touring musician, but for me, I just like to be in the rehearsal space again, you know, just practicing techniques and just, you know, put up videos on Instagram, just doing other things that you
fun stuff
that you like and that makes you happy. So yeah, I'm in the studio mostly of the days and just recording drums for other artists now, which is super fun as well, because now people will call me not for just doing shows and stuff like that. It's just for recording drums and cutting drums and mixing drums. So I mean, it's fun to do that too, and I would say that's the thing that motivates me most now, to, you know, be in the rehearsal space and just do other things than just playing in front of and touring.
Yeah.
So yeah. So how about you?
It's a weird one actually. Thanks for asking.
Yeah.
So I mean, I obviously. A similar position to yourself, do a lot of, but from a tech point of view. So I'm a drum tech.
Yeah.
So again, UK and Europe and other parts of wherever.
Okay.
And very much had pretty much everything pulled from underneath my feet in the space of about a week.
Yeah.
So to start off with, I panicked, to be honest, about what I was going to do, where my income was going to come from, X, Y, Z. But I always had the intentions for this year to set up my company, my business, which is this essentially, which is an education platform that in the beginning was going to be less kind of how to play drums, but more how to prepare for that first gig, how to prepare for that first tour, that kind of stuff. Which I'm still hoping to kind of do, but in the meantime, the kind of kit lessons became more apparent because it was kind of easier to get off the ground a lot quicker. But thankfully, I mean, sort of
I think it's amazing that you do this, and
thanks.
Yeah, it's awesome that I see a few drummers in Sweden as well. Like they do their own podcasts and stuff like that. So I think it's awesome, you know, to just inspire new drummers and you know,
exactly.
I'm super happy for you, and I really hope this would go great for you.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, I just kind of wanted to create a place that wasn't like drum heavy and kind of gave off that like. I didn't want to have that clique or that like clickiness to the community that I'm trying to create. I just wanted it to be somewhere you could come and listen and just have fun, like. But that's sweet. Right, I have 2 more questions. So my first question is, what's next for you, and where do you see yourself in 10 years' time?
Ooh, so next for me, I would say I'm still gonna, this week I'm gonna play in Swedish Idol, you know, the music show. I'm gonna play with Zara.
Oh, cool.
So she's gonna release a new song, which we're gonna premiere this Friday. So it's the Idol final, and the week after that we're gonna do like a Christmas streaming thing, cool. Which I am MD for as well. So I mean, it's not in front of audience because you can only be 8 people here in Sweden. Like, so you can't.
That's 2 more than the UK. We can only have 6 here.
6. Oh yeah. Shit, yeah. It's crazy. So yeah, we're gonna do a streaming show, and then we're gonna play like it's with Zara as well. Later this December, it's like a crowdfunding thing for with different artists. Cool. That play every year. It's like a radio TV program.
Nice.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna sit in the studio recording for different artists for their albums and stuff like that.
Nice.
And yeah, I mean,
I assume you'll be back on tour at some point.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully I'll be back on tour pretty soon, but to be honest, it doesn't look really good.
No, it's a weird one. I think over here at the moment there's a lot of talk about a vaccine.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is obviously positive.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hope it comes out soon.
Yeah, exactly. As soon as the vaccine comes out, I guess people will have to get vaccine to go to shows or even do anything. So I guess that's a good thing. Yeah. But I would say I really don't know about like next summer because a few of the labels and they say that it's 50-50. Well, it might be something next year. We don't know because of how this COVID will.
What I find really weird over here, so like some of the tours I'm doing next year, traditionally over the summer period, like May through till September, would obviously be festivals.
Yeah.
But they're not festivals, they're just full tours, like in venues inside, which is a weird one. Like I'm getting booked for tours that are taking place in like July, and it's just like club shows. It's really weird.
Shit.
As opposed to like outdoor stuff, which makes me think that perhaps festivals aren't going to be happening.
Yeah. I mean, they start to book festivals, and I've seen that they already booked Zara for stuff next year. I mean, I'm just hoping it's gonna be. I'm not gonna rely on it. So I have to have a plan B as well.
Sure.
But I mean, okay. So in 10 years, that's a pretty far jump. But I would say. I think in 10 years I'm gonna be touring with artists, but I'm not gonna be touring with 5 or 6 artists at the same time, which I do now. Mm-hmm. I would say I would play with maybe 1 or 2, maybe only 1 that I would like to work with most time, and then I think I would work in music business, but maybe like in a management, because I've been thinking a lot about that this time. So management, A&R. I think I will work on a music label or something like that, because that's what my next goal is. And also, I mean, I have a goal to work more with international artists as well.
Sweet.
And like UK artists as well. So I'm gonna try.
Yeah.
In the next 5 years, I'm gonna try to get those kind of gigs.
Yeah, I get that, man. That's a good place to aim for, I think.
Yeah. I mean, it's fun because with Zara, I mean, we do play internationally and we play, but I mean, it would be so fun to get headhunted to play with like a new up and coming artists in US or UK. Yeah. And so I think I will aim for that too. That would be a lot of fun. Do
you know Will Bauman?
Yeah. I mean, in the beginning when Dua Lipa was like smaller than Zara, I mean, they were playing before us on tours when we played together. And Dua she was super new, and Zara was a little bit bigger because she had released Lush Life and Never Forget You and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then just a year after, Dua Lipa just exploded. I mean, she just went off.
Yeah.
Like, it was so crazy. And yeah, so we hanged around with William and the whole team. We got a lot drunk in Tokyo, which was fun. We did a few shows over there. It was awesome.
Nice one.
Yeah, so I know him, and I guess so he's just like doing the MD stuff, and I guess I would just reach out to him and say, hey, I want to go to UK now.
Yeah. He's. I watched. So Dewar did like a live thing the other day on Friday.
Yeah.
Like a studio something. I think it's 2054. I don't know. But the show was incredible, absolutely incredible. He's a really talented guy.
Yeah, he's super talented, and so he's not playing for Duo now. He's just like the MD and arranging. He's just arranging for artists now. But
I believe it's a guy called Dwayne that's playing now.
Yeah. I guess it's a good call as well. Like if you can work with more artists and do arrangements and stuff like that, I guess he's gonna earn a lot more money on that. And I mean, he's when you're getting older, I guess you don't want to be touring all day.
Yeah, I can understand. He's probably wanting to set something up for his future. I don't particularly know him, and I don't think he knows me at all. But well, I know he doesn't know me at all. But
he's an awesome dude.
Super impressed by his work.
Super nice.
So I wrote here, would it be possible for you to write out the sticking to your infamous Never Forget You drum fill? However, obviously we're doing this over the phone. Do you have that as like a PDF or something that you can send over?
Oh, no, I don't have it on me. But actually, I did this podcast for Trumpodden, a Swedish podcast, and it's on YouTube. If you that's where the PDF is. Do you want me to send it to you?
Yeah, if you could send me the link, that'd be sweet.
Yeah, it's a YouTube link with you can just do a screenshot of the PDF because I don't have it home here now.
No, that's cool. Okay, so my final question is: can you share a quick tip or give us a small exercise you always use, whether that's like a warm-up exercise or how not to get ill on tour, like just something that has seen you through these years?
Oh, warm up. Oh shit.
If you warm up, that is.
I mean, I do warm up, and I would say I've always been into six-stroke rolls.
Nice.
And so I'm doing a lot of combinations with six-stroke rolls, and also so a good foot and hand exercise that I like to do is to do a six-stroke roll, and then you accent. With all your right, you would with your right hand, you accent that with your foot as well.
Okay,
so if you do a six-stroke roll, you would you can just write it down, and then on all the right hands you do the accent with your foot as well, and then you just put it up a tempo, and then you can switch out the accents, and stuff like that. So that's a nice little warm-up thing that I like to do.
Nice.
With the six-stroke roll. And to be on tour, okay, a good tip is to have a really nice flying pillow.
Okay, I like that.
I always have that with me, and I will promise you, like for all the new drummers, if you're out touring, if you don't get that sleep on the plane or anywhere you are, you will be exhausted. Like when you have time to sleep, do it and have a nice flying pillow, because that will save you your neck and your day.
I rate that. That is some good advice. Simon, thank you so much for taking part in this.
Yeah, man, it was super fun to be a part of it.
I massively appreciate it.
Yeah. And good luck with everything, you too.
Thanks, man. If you're ever in the UK, we'd love to hook up, bring a camera crew down, and do like a rig run through.
That would be awesome, mate. I hope I'll come back pretty soon.
Sweet.
And I will, of course, reach out to you.
Yeah, man.
It would be awesome to see you too, mate.
Cool. All right, man. Thank you very much. Take care.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your day, bro.
You too. Cheerios.
Bye-bye.
Bye.